Welcome to Yerushalmi Berachos Daf Chaf Ches. I have 3 hours I want to share. They're usually related, so you will try to come up with a theme between them. The Gemara actually has a seemingly das yachid here, which is talking about the tefillah of Baal Keri, and Rav Huna says that this applies to any dream that causes a person to become a Baal Keri. But Rav Yaakov Bar Alva says that this only applies through Tashrish Amita. That's the only type of discharge that would count. Now, that's a Das Yachid that you probably are not even familiar with, because in the Bavli, there is very little mention of such a concept. The Gemara has a whole kasha about, if this is true, then we know that Rav Yossi ben Chalafta had to go to the mikveh privately on Yom Kippur, and if he was going for Keri, then that's impossible, because if you hold that it's only for Tasha Mita, that's one of the Chamesh Shinuyim, so it's impossible. And if you hold that the pshat was that he went before, that there had been an act before, but he forgot, it says, Islacha Meimar also a guf kadosh b'shocheach. You can't say that a holy person would forget. So that statement is very powerful and brings up a lot of tremendous lessons for us, that Rav Yossi ben Chalafta was a ish kadosh, and therefore, for him to say that he forgot to be tovel, to bring kedusha to himself, is an impossibility, and the Gemara disproves that opinion and says that opinion must be wrong based on that story. Even though there's a lot to say, we know the famous Gemara in Yoma, by the way, Daf Pei Chesam and Aleph, it says Yira Zer Yarach Yom, that it's a good sign as long as it didn't come with any hearer. Karban Eda brings this down, that it was showing that he was a Ben Olam Haba. But the point is that someone holy doesn't forget. What does that mean? He's perfect? No. People that are holy make mistakes too. But the pshat is that if holiness is something that's conscious on your mind and it's always there, so then you stay holy and you stay conscious of what your values are. Now, also, huge machlokas here between what the Bavli and Yerushalmi hold, but just a simple reading of the Gemara: are you allowed to think divrei Torah in the bathroom? Well, Ma'al Halar Beisakise, are you allowed to think? So Chizkiah says mutter. He says it's mutter. Rav Yosef says usser. Now, this is very hard to understand. How in the world could somebody matter? Now, Rav Zera says, yeah, all hard kashas I thought about there, and that's what I did. And Rav Elazar ben Shimon says, all difficult thinking that I did about Tul Yom, I did there. And that's actually based on the Rishonim over here, and the Achronim bring down that it's a Gemara in Tzvachim, Daf Kuf Beis and Beis, where he has a whole explanation about this very complicated Tul Yom. Now, if you look, Halacha L'Maisa, at the end of the day, Beis Yosef and Arachaim, Simon Pei brings down very clearly, Mishabura as well, in Oskatan Ches, says it's usher to think divrei Torah in the bathroom. And we know Shmuel was very famous that he was able to study science while in the bathroom, and he knew all the Shvili de Mechuzah and on Durakia. He knew all the streets in his city and all the things in the sky as well, because of his time in the restroom. But there is this Shita in the Yerushalmi that says that it's mutter. The Beis Yosef there tries to explain that it's just saying that if it's an ones because he was thinking about learning so much, just like the ones of davening, where he was thinking about learning so much that he couldn't stop, then he's not going to be punished for it. That's how a lot of the Rishonim try to explain it. That's a lot of the Achronim try to explain it. Again, the simple reading of the Yerushalmi seems to be straight out mutter. It's mutter and not machmas ones, but that's Chizkiah Shita. Just very fascinating to know about Das Yachid. And the last thing that I wanted to go through is that it says that you should think very highly of tefillah of the gezerah of where is it? Shubal Levi says that you should not think lightly of the tefillas Ezra, because it's something that really protected Jews from sin. And it brings down 2 stories. One of them was a watchman of vineyards came to be with a married woman, but then they started taking a preparation to say, where are we going to go to the mikveh afterwards, because of tefillas Ezra. Now, this seems a little bit crazy, but just bear with me for a minute. Then, by the time they found somewhere in private, because people were walking by, so Batla Haver, the whole thing fell apart. Another story, that someone was hitting on the shifcha of Rebbe, which again, she's quoted as being a righteous woman throughout Chazal, and they learned Torah from her. But so she said, she says, I'm sorry, my mistress has not gone. Her master has not gone to go to the mikveh. Therefore, I cannot go. Some people say that she was saying, I'm a nida, so you can't be with me. Although this story would not seem to have anything to do with Tfilas Ezra. Other people say that she was makbid on it as well. So he said to her, a very disgusting thing, but you're an animal, so who cares? Which is a disgusting response. And she said back, okay, well, if I'm an animal, then kol shochev behemos you must. Obviously, she was outsmarting him with that, and very, very disturbing. But either way, the point is, what's pshat? The pshat is that when a person has a passion for things, the best thing to do is give it a break. I worked with a lot of teenagers, and I taught them this trick. If you're going to do something horrible, just say, fine, I'm going to do it. But I'm going to take 1 minute and not do it. In that 1 minute, things happen. Like Gemara says, Lun dina, bas dina, batal dina. Gemara in the Bavli in Sanhedrin says that when you push off something, it oftentimes gets nullified. And that's what happened. This sin of passion in the first story, not the second one. That's just an interesting story that's disturbing in many ways. But in the first story, these people were about to sin. Now, some of the Rishonim and Achronim seem to say, for example, the one of the Mefarshim on the page here, I think it was the Mara Fulda, says that they thought that maybe by going to the mikveh afterwards it would wipe away the sin, which is very odd to think that. I mean, everybody knows that, right? The Marik, everybody knows Eishes, 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 Ish. There's no excuse for it. It's a limal mal b'Hashem ba'isha. Anyway, but the simple pshat is that they didn't have a taiva to be mevatel at Tfilas Ezra, but just in preparing for it, like the man who pulled off his tzitzis to be with the Zona, it reminded, hey, what am I doing? Take a moment and think. And when a person takes a moment and thinks, a lot of great things happen in our lives. Have a great day.